Hey everybody, it's Elliot from Little Pug People here, and today I'm here with Cornell Thomas, my friend. He's an author, he's a public speaker, he talks a lot about positivity, and today I thought it'd be great to talk to him with all the current events going on. So most of the interview, I'm just going to be listening to what he has to say. Cool. So you ready?
I'm ready. Good to be here, buddy.
Let's get into it. So, how do you handle, with the current events going on, people that are dismissive about it and focus more on the rioters and the All Lives Matter?
Yeah. So for me, Elliot, like just being a brown person in America, it's something that I've experienced for a very long time. So when Black Lives Matter first came out, people said, well, all lives matter. There's nothing in the sentence Black Lives Matter that says, with the caveat, oh, and we hate everybody, right? The only thing that means is it seems like they don't matter. So of course, blue lives matter. Of course, all lives matter. Of course, yellow, whatever color scheme you want to put, rainbow, it doesn't matter. All lives matter, but it just seems that in the climate that we're living in, the country we're living in, it seems like Black lives matter a little bit less. I have a history of law enforcement. My father was a police officer. My oldest brother was a police officer. So I would never condemn police officers. But to not see injustice when it happens, that's where the problem lies. I have friends that are in police, that are in law enforcement, that have reached out to me and said, Cornell, not only we don't stand by that, but they've posted things on their social media saying this is wrong. Now, think about that. Think about being a police officer and the pressure that you have from the people that are police officers around you, and then you still post something against one of your own saying that does not represent us. That's brave. And I don't know if 5 years, 10 years from 10 years ago, that would happen. So I think things are starting to change where people are starting to voice their opinion. Because if you're just quiet about it and say nothing, that means that you probably agree with what happened. Because how would I know? This is the thing. And you'll see this when this comes out. We're uncomfortable having conversations. And that is the problem. I don't understand, because I'm a little bit darker than you or you're a little bit lighter than me, why we can't sit down and have a intelligent, logical conversation without people getting butthurt and saying, oh my gosh, well, you think this way or you think that way. Because we have keyboard warriors and people that like to type a bunch of stuff behind their computers, but then they see you in person, they smile in your face. That's the problem. They feel they have a moral license to say whatever they want instead of thinking about actually what civil rights even means. Civil is just like being kind and being courteous. Rights is like entitlement, right? So civil rights movement was, I'm entitled for you to at least be kind, courteous, and treat me as a human being. It wasn't saying your rights don't matter. It wasn't saying give me more rights than you. It's just saying let's have an even playing field so we can look at each other as human beings. So I think the state of play is changing. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look at these protests, the people that are protesting the right way, right? Not the plants that are going there and breaking stuff up and all that. People that are protesting the right way, you see all different colors. All different religions, people coming together and having these conversations. The problem is this. When we judge and think that police officers have to be perfect, we forget that there's the human condition. We're not perfect, right? The difference is, if I have a bad teacher, they might make me hate this subject. If I have a bad police officer, I may not live. That's why I would love for people to get to be above their programming and the images that they see on TV. If you Google happiness, you don't see brown faces. You Google happiness, you see hero, happiness, hero, any of these things. All you see are people that look a lot lighter than I am. If you Google gangster, thug, all you see are people that look like me, right? So there's so much imagery involved in people's mindsets and the perceptions of what a brown person is and it's just hue. We all originate from the same place. It is just literally skin tone. And when I have people that say, well, I'm colorblind, I'm colorblind. I'm like, don't be colorblind. That's the dumbest thing in the world. I want you to see the fact that I have brown skin. And just like I love the fact that you have olive skin, I think it's dope that you look different than me. And I was telling you, when we were talking before, I was saying, imagine having just one of the trees. Every tree was a maple tree. Every flower was a daisy, right? We all look the same. That's dumb. Why would you want that? That's the spice of life, the fact that we're all different. The only problem is that some of us are treated differently because of the way we look. And I think that's where the problem lies.
What could I do and people like me do to help?
I would say this. First thing, the people that are not racist and the people that actually speak up and have a voice and support, stop feeling guilty. I don't want sympathy. I want empathy. There's a difference. Like, I don't need anybody's sympathy. I don't need people like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm a grown ass man. Like, I'm fine, right? I'm fine. But I do want you to be empathetic to what's going on. That's it. The fact that, we're doing this interview, I get a chance to hang out with you guys and talk for a couple of hours. Like, this is great for me. It's just a conversation. But I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I feel so bad that you're brown skin. I don't. I love that I am, just like you should love that you are. So I think just having conversations, and for the people that are going out there and thinking that protesting means rioting, like, I'm gonna go out there and help my fellow, brown human being by throwing a brick through a window. No, that's not what it means. You're not helping anything. You're making things worse.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
There's one thing, and I think it's important. Whenever you talk about race, right? One of the things that I see a lot is people will say, well, why don't you get over it? When I came home from college, this is just a super quick story. I came home from college from North Dakota. My mom and I got this 1998 Mercury Sable, this hoopty car for me to drive around and to train for basketball. And I had a temporary license plate on it for 12, 15 days or whatever it was. My mom moved to Sussex County, which is a very rural area, predominantly white area. In that 6 days that I was home, Elliot, the first 6 days I was home, I got pulled over 5 times by police officers. Now think about that. I got pulled over 5 times by a different police officer in 6 days. Now the first time I got pulled over, what's up, officer? I just need your license, registration, blah, 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 blah. Here, no problem, no ticket. Second time, I'm a little bit more frustrated, no ticket. Third time, fourth time, now I'm getting angry, no ticket. And the 5th time, I'm driving home from Hoboken with a friend of mine who's also brown skinned. He was in front of me, I was behind him. And we're driving through this town that predominantly white. I see the police officer. It's 1:30 in the morning. Now, mind you, I don't drink, I don't smoke, any of that stuff. And we're driving up. This police officer pulls out and tries to wedge in between the both of us. So he gets behind my friend's car first, gets to his license plate, comes out, and then gets right on my car's tail. And just like it felt like inches away. So at this point in time, this is 2002, you can talk on your cell phone. I called my buddy and I was like, this guy is going to pull me over. Can you wait for me? Because one of the things that my mom told me when I was growing up, when I got my license, is if you ever get pulled over by a police officer, pull over to a lit area. Now, I don't know how many conversations people that are lighter than me had about that, but my mom told me and my brothers and my sister that when you get pulled over to a lit area. Now, again, my dad was a police officer. My brother was a police officer. My mom still had the sense of mind to tell us this. So I pull over. 1:30 in the morning, the cop comes up to me. You drinking? No, officer, I don't drink. I don't smoke. Give me your license, registration, insurance. Here you go, sir. Now I also hand him, I have a little PBA card because we get them every year for my dad. Sit tight, buddy. Goes into his car. 45 minutes later, I'm still sitting there. The officer's not there. Then 3 more police cars come up. So now there's me. It's 2:15 in the morning, almost 2:30 in the morning. There's 4 cops. They're outside their cars laughing, talking, etc. And I'm sitting in my car fuming because this is the 5th time I've been pulled over. And now there's nothing being done and they're just having a party in the back. So after another 15 minutes, the other cops go off and the officer's walking to my car and he has a ticket in his hand. Not an apology, a ticket. And so I'm thinking to myself, what is this dude possibly going to give me a ticket for? So he comes up and he goes, you know what? I'm going to have to give you a ticket for obstruction of view. I said, officer, what are you talking about? He goes, you see that rearview mirror there? You have a little air freshener behind it. Now, my air freshener was this big. The stem was this big. And I told him, so at 1:30 in the morning, you saw an air freshener this big behind my rearview mirror. He goes, yeah, buddy, sorry, nothing I can do. He hands me the ticket. I crumple up the ticket. I throw it up against my window, and I said, I'll see you in court. Now, the next time I get pulled over, the police officer says, sir, you have a light out. And I go, yeah, sure. I bet I have a light out. And I'm pissed. And he goes, sir, you can come out your car. You have a light out. That's why I pulled you over. I go out and my light's out. I had no idea. But I put all that anger towards that police officer that did nothing because of the other 5 times. So what people have to understand, it's a buildup for brown people. And it's not just law enforcement. It's life in general. I don't live my life saying I want a handout or people should take care of me. I live my life saying, despite being behind in the race, I'm still going to work my butt off, catch you and pass you. It doesn't matter. But I grew up with a mom who worked her butt off, that did everything to get us out of the city and get us the right education. There are people that don't have, and we didn't grow up with a lot. There's people that have even less than that every day they look to their left and to their right and it's all despair. There's hopelessness. So don't say get over it to someone that you don't know their story or you don't know their history. And because when you do that, it's like a slap in the face. So I make sure to educate myself on things. When I went to speak in Saudi Arabia and Dubai and I went to Africa, I educated myself on where I'm going so I don't offend people. We have no problem offending each other. We have no problem offending people we don't know anything about except for what we may have read in our little history books or what we've been told. And I think that's very important. And we start learning about one another and start putting the fear down, because that's all it is. We're just scared to learn, scared to break our cycle, scared to break our molds. Then I think the world's going to be a way better place.